Hello again, folks. And have I got something special in store today? In a minute, we're going to take a look at what a really cool stamp can do. But first, I thought I would show you why I love used stamps. And I think you should collect them too. So this is a Scott International Postage Stamp Album Part 1 for the first 100 years of stamp collecting. It is my 2024 project. I am really excited about it. It was sitting on my shelf for the longest time. It's Robert Winkenbach's old album from 1976. I took it off the shelf, wrote my name in it, and I am restoring it to its original glory. And the first thing I've done is I focused on the United States section. When I bought this album, there were no US stamps. So I've gone ahead and found stamps for my own collection, and I'm putting them in here. And I'm particularly putting in stamps with cool cancels because I love used stamps. You know, us stamp collectors tend to focus on the mint stamps, because, you know, they're more rare, they have higher values. Anything that survives from 1857 that didn't get canceled or is in good condition is pretty rare. And so those I continue to appreciate. But there's something about a cool cancel like that one. Socked on the nose, New York, 1869, I believe that says. How cool is that? That tells such a story. Socked on the nose stamps are pretty rare relative to others. And so they do have a little bit more value than a typical run-of-the-mill canceled stamp. But to me, they just are part of history. They tell a story. They're epically cool. And the blackjack. I do love the blackjack with a cool fancy cancel on it. A fancy cancel is the postmaster made corks that they used to cancel stamps. And so they carved each individual cork to their own liking. And they made some really cool designs. And those became known as fancy cancels and are sought after by collectors because they're just unique and they're cool. And they're accessible. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get into stamp collecting, which is one of the reasons why it's so wonderful as a hobby. It's not about money. It's not about making a buck or two. It's about appreciating really cool art. It's about collecting stuff. And then, I mean, whomever put this stamp on an envelope told a story when they did that. Fresno, 1893. How cool. The Colombian set is one of my favorites in American philately. As is the Trans-Mississippi Exposition issue over here. Chicago Cancel on the 4-cent, one of my favorite stamps. I went through my entire collection. I have gone through all of my stamps. I still have some left to get to. And as you can see, I've got gaps, even in common stamps, because I focused on cool cancels. That's how rare these are. We forget about that. You know, we tend to think that used stamps are not as sought after. But the truth is, when you're after good condition used stamps that have nice cancels, they're pretty rare. And rarity leads to value in the collector's world. But more importantly, they're just cool. They tell such a story. Madison Square Station, January 1932. You look at that stamp and you imagine yourself on a sidewalk walking down New York next to men in bowler caps and trench coats, you know, maybe shuffling off to the soup kitchen, seeing as how it was 1932. But they tell just such a cool story. And, you know, maybe I can take it one step further and I can show you what I mean. So this stamp right here, this stamp is a socked on the nose, Los Angeles, California from 1932. Doesn't that just make you want to see Los Angeles in 1932? Well, here you go. So, this is Los Angeles in 1932. 1,250,000 people live here, about 39% of the state of California. Over in Hollywood, Ingrid Bergman, Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn, and Shirley Temple are all starting their careers, while across town athletes from 37 nations are competing in the Olympic Games. That's 9 fewer nations than participated in the previous Olympics, because the Great Depression is wreaking havoc all over the world. Throughout LA and the rest of the nation, millions of people are homeless, many living in Hooverville shantytowns or riding the rails in search of work. But over in the Ambassador Hotel, everything seems fine, as the filmmakers and the power brokers that will soon usher in the golden age of Hollywood gather together for the 5th Academy Awards. Grand Hotel, starring Greta Garbo and John Barrymore, won Best Picture. It's too early for film noir, but here's a really cool car driving fast at night. Here's some more. And one more. Why is he running? No one knows. And that's the thing about collecting used stamps. They just transport you. They take you places. They give you an escape into another country, another city, another destination, all just by, looking through a glass at a small print like that and realizing ultimately that says Indiana, even though it's the Wisconsin issue. Or that one says Chicago, Illinois. And it just transports you. Oh, I love this one. Duluth, Minnesota, right in the middle of the sheet. A nice U.S. Navy cancel from 1939. I wonder who sent that and how their next few years went. Some New York's World's Fair. You take a look at that cancel, and maybe that leads you on a Wikipedia search of the New York's World's Fair. Who knows? I love this one. So this is very meta. It's an airmail stamp with an airplane cancel on it. How cool is that? And of course, the 24 cent from 1918. Again, a nice New York cancel. You don't have to collect new stamps. You can collect used ones and find just as much joy out of them. And I will say, as somebody who lives in Minnesota, I have a hard time finding Minnesotan stamps. So again, to the specialist, to the collector, if I live in Bemidji and I collect stamps and I see a Bemidji cancel on a stamp, I'm going to pay a premium for it. Not that it's about money, but it is about what's cool and collecting things that have value in one way, shape, or form. And there you go. That is the first leg in a long journey through Robert's album. I am very, very excited for this project. And I will say, how cool is that first page, right? I mean, that's just a really cool page of stamps. And here's a little pro tip for all of you who stayed till the end. If you get an album that has an empty section like I did here, if you fill it, if you put valuable stamps in it, you will exponentially increase the value of the album itself. So just adding, some of my extra USA stamps, even though I did focus on my finer socked on the nose stamps, I know that I did this album a service because these pages were blank and now they have some really cool stamps in them. So there you go, little journey through socked on the nose stamps. If you like today's video, please do like it and subscribe to the channel. It means a great deal to me. Until next time.